Welcome to This Week in Auburn Sports. I'm sports editor Justin Ferguson. That's sports reporter Eric Wallace. This week's edition, a whole lot of A-Day talk. So let's get right to it. It's probably one of the most lopsided spring games you'll ever see. The starters, Auburn went with starters versus backups, and it got ugly really quickly.
Yeah, as to be expected, the starters were far ahead of the backups.
Yeah, I'd be a little concerned about the white team's chances in the SEC West this year.
Yeah.
The blue team looked all right though. The blue team stars. You saw a lot of passing from Nick Marshall. That was an emphasis all spring long. Malzahn said Auburn's going to throw the ball a lot more this year, and they showed it from there wasn't really kickoff from the first play of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you saw a lot from the wide receivers. There's DeKeel Williams obviously had a big game. His first time playing out there on Jordan Hare, but I mean, even guys like Quan Bray.
Quan Bray had a huge day, 2 touchdowns.
Oh yeah, they were making an impact out there.
Sammy had an amazing one-handed catch. Yeah. DeKeel Williams. I think I said this right after the game. If Nick Marshall wouldn't have thrown the ball, as much as he did, he had a ton of yards, a lot of touchdowns. Yeah,
4 touchdowns.
Yeah, in his 2 quarters of work. I said if he didn't throw the ball that much, DeKeel Williams would have probably been your MVP, just because he went and got after the ball, which has been a big thing that Damian Craig's been drilling into the wide receivers this spring. I mean, you remember all the times last year where Marshall would hit a deep ball and it would just be just out of the reach, and you would sit there and think. I mean, fans would sit there and think, if they'd made that last little bit of effort, maybe they could have came up with it. You didn't see that Saturday because Auburn's receivers were attacking the football, and that was just been a big emphasis here, and it showed.
Yeah, and as good as Marshall was, I mean, even he left some throws out there. I mean, he had some overthrown passes. Malzahn said the winds were swirling, but I mean, they left some plays out there. So I mean, there's still room for improvement as good as they were. I mean,
yeah, and Marshall's got a much better in accuracy over the spring. He had a couple of passes, I think, over the middle where it was like, oh man, he's throwing behind again or too far out in front. And DeKeel Williams he knows when to stop and then go get the ball. Yeah, and he's going to be a game changer for Auburn this year, because now, you look at the SEC championship game. Most of the receptions were to Sammy Coates. Auburn ran the ball most of that game. With the Trey Mason is going to New York game. Yeah. But now Auburn's got another weapon in DeKeel Williams out wide. You've got Quan Bray stepping up in the slot.
Marcus Davis
had another good game, and then Stanton Truitt, the speedy freshman who came in, he graduated high school early, so he's here already.
The ever underutilized C.J. Uzoma. I mean,
he had a great catch over the middle.
Absolutely.
So the passing game was a big factor. Didn't see a whole lot of separation in the run game. Corey Grant is still fast. Still very fast, and Cameron Spain still can hit you very hard.
Yeah, he's got a few moves too.
Yeah, I mean, he showed that. He had a couple of really good juke moves to get free. And I know we say all this, and this was against Auburn's second-team defense, but it was just the individual playmakers out on the field. You had to take some pride in that if you're an Auburn fan, because they just played well. The one negative I saw offensively was Peyton Barber.
Yeah.
And you feel bad for him, because you talk about he had a great year last year on the scout team, had a really good year, had a really good spring, fighting for that job with those seniors, and then first play of the game, busts a 12-yard run, gets hit hard, fumbles the ball,
sprains his knee,
high ankle sprain.
Ankle sprain. No.
Yeah, ankle sprain, and he was out for the rest of the game, got carted off the field. So it'll be interesting to see how he recovers from that heading into fall camp, and where he's going to go from there, because that battle is still going to be great. And I personally think, Rock Thomas coming in. I personally think Auburn's going to run it back by committee like they did last year, and if somebody gets the hot hand like Mason did, they get it. But you see so much that you can use with both Artis Payne and Grant.
Their styles just fit each other.
Yeah, it's the perfect running game when you have a guy like Marshall running the show.
Yep.
Plenty of A-Day coverage this week in the Auburn Plainsman. The print copy, we've got a story on passing game, secondary, a really good game. Got some newcomers shining there. Big weekend at Auburn. Had a lot of former legends come down.
Yep.
Got stories on that. So you want to check that out this week. Just some quick hits before we go. Basketball got their third and final
On-court assistant. Yeah, Harris Adler from LaSalle.
LaSalle, yep.
He's been there for a decade or so. They credited him a lot. They made a run to the Sweet 16 a couple years ago. I remember, if you remember, they beat Marshall Henderson around to 32. So, he's got some good NCAA tournament experience to bring to the staff.
And he has a connection with Pearl for some older teams they'd coached in the past. So Auburn's coaching staff is set. Chuck Person, Tony Jones, Harris Adler. You got Stephen Pearl, strength and condition.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting to see how Auburn builds up. They're starting to get some recruits coming in. Simeon Bowers was by some services the #1 JUCO player in the country.
Yep.
Had a story on him last week. So Auburn's really starting to pick up in recruiting with the Bruce Pearl thing. Big story this week. Auburn's not appealing Bruce Pearl's show cause. So they're just going to let that run until August when it expires. So let's see what else we got. This weekend, baseball, softball continuing. They're wrapping up their seasons as classes come to a close. We're taking this on a Friday. Auburn's at Arkansas. Baseball's at Arkansas this weekend. Another middle-of-the-road SEC team. You really need a series win. Haven't had one of those in a month.
It's been a while.
Softball goes through their grind. Final home series this weekend at Texas. Against Texas A&M. So got all that going on. We'll have coverage ThePlainsman.com. Make sure you check us out at ThePlainsman on Twitter. And I guess that does it for this semester of This Week in Sports. And
that's weird. Came to an end so quick.
This was such a weird semester, but it was such an exciting semester from a sports perspective. We're looking forward to seeing what's going to happen next year. And I guess in the summer you got stuff to fill out. Baseball,
SEC
softball.
baseball.
Yeah, media days, stuff like that. So you want to keep up with us over the summer. But until next time, see you later.